You can see that in 7 days, people have these very profound transcendental experiences.
At your progress workshops.
Yeah, and the week-long retreats. And so when we look at the data and people who hit these aroused states, sometimes it's more than 50% of the subjects that we're measuring in terms of their brain scans. So it's not like one person or two people. It happens more and more as people get better at doing it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen any key traits that people who accelerate that process have? People who really apply themselves effectively to the process? What kind of traits and characteristics can people develop in order to really see that shift and see that change for themselves?
Yeah, well, I think people have to be present with information, and I think paying attention is being present. And I think it's a skill, and the more you practice it, the better you get at it. But if you're not present, then you can't hear the information because your mind is in the predictable future or the familiar past, right? So that's why online courses for me are just something that I never would ever do, because I don't want to compete with a person's attention, because it's so much easier to forget this information than to remember it, right? But if you can get a community of people together, have them understand the information, and then in 7 days, immerse themselves fully into transformation and change, sooner or later, there's an emergent consciousness that takes place in the collective. And this is what we discovered. One of the things that was so amazing in just looking at the data is you get people from all over the world that come to these events, sometimes the 90 different countries. And you have everybody with their own very specific genotype, and genes make proteins, right? So everybody has their own unique gene expression and their own genotype. But at the end of 7 days, about 80% of the population is expressing the same genes and making the same proteins. That means that the tribe, the flock, the herd, the collective, there's an emergent consciousness where people are biologically evolving together, right? So something happens that's intangible when you get a group of people together and they start overcoming themselves.